Okay, so you might be thinking to yourself, I'm a tad bit depressed now. You just ruined the way that I was planning on retiring. What am I going to do now? Don't stress, we're good. You can do that method as well, and you get yourself to the point where you can get into this method. But keep in mind, this method that I do, which I'm about to describe in a second, is not that hard to get into. The first reason I want to bring up why I love my method is a barrier entry is actually potentially easier. And let me explain why after I explain exactly what I do. So what is it that I do here in Dallas, Houston, Austin, but typically Dallas because Houston, Austin is really tough to make this profitable right now, is in Dallas we'd like to find new builds in more developing area, and we do it from 350 to 450, sometimes 500,000, which kind of sucks because you have to get in a jumbo loan after you get 500,000. Let's just keep it between 350 to 450. In this example, 400,000. And then once we get into these new builds, we put 3 to 5% down because they're our personal home, and then I'll explain that in a second. And then once we jump in there, we start making profit hand and foot. So instead of the typical rental arbitrage where you make 1,000 net, sometimes 1,500 net per unit, we're making $6,000, $7,000 or more net per property. So you're making way more money depending per investment that you have, which is cool. Deal flow is much less stressful. You have a lot less to manage, and overall, I really like it. Less stress, more money. Sounds to make a lot of sense. So that's what we do. First one, the barrier entry is not as bad. Now let's talk about is the other way. Barrier entry tends to be the reason why a lot of people get into rental arbitrage. But like we said, a lot of times you need 2 years of a matured LLC. And a lot of times you need to have double, triple, sometimes 5 times the monthly income of the rent to get qualified. And you need to also have your deposits are much higher as well. So that risk is really high, and the amount of money that you need is really high. And you need to have this LLC matured for a long time. A lot of people don't even know about this stuff. So unless you're really planning it right, or unless you get really lucky, then the barrier entry to rental arbitrage is a lot higher than a lot of people really assume. In this way, it's really not that bad. As long as you have a job that shows that you make relatively decent debt to income ratio, and you can put down 3%, so in this case, 4, 8, 12, you put $12,000 down on a property, then you can get in because it's a personal home. It's not a 20% down loan. That's for an investment. This is a personal home that you choose then later to Airbnb it out. Just kind of like a rental property that you do, like a vacation home. It's like you're gonna travel a lot for work or whatever happens to be, and while you travel, you happen to put it on Airbnb. This so happens you travel all the time, whatever. But it's not technically mortgage fraud because that's what people do all the time with their homes. They put it on Airbnb whenever they're out of town. So barrier entry is much less high than what you might think. If you are someone that's a bartender, waiter, or doing something that's really cash heavy, you don't have like a really good W-2 form, then it is a little bit more difficult. You are gonna have to do the same thing with those 2 years matured bank account. You have to show a lot of money coming into your bank statements, but that's for a different thing, and you talk to a lender for that. And plus, everything with real estate is somewhat more fluid. And so what I like to do is I like to put in the contract that you get 2% back or 2.5% back on closing from the seller. So the seller actually gives you 2% of the closing costs on the close. And now you can't use closing costs is typically, unless you use like a weird lender and title company, you don't normally need to spend 2%. And so in this case, $8,000 for closing costs is insane for a $400,000 house. But say for instance, you got weird rates and blah, 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 and you do have to pay 1.5 or 2%. Then you get to use it all for closing costs, and you don't have to worry about anything about closing costs, you just worry about the $12,000 down. But if you had to pay more or less, blah, 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 if you have any money left over, say for instance your closing costs were $5,000 and you have that, $3,000 left over, you can put that to buying down your rate, which then you actually see a lower monthly cost on your mortgage, which is fantastic. Now you're actually getting that money back per month. Whoa. The second reason why I like it is that it gives you a built-in 2-month free kind of timeline. So say for instance you close on July 1st. Then most people think you need to start paying your mortgage on July 1st, which is not necessarily true. You can structure it to where you don't need to start paying until September. You can do 2 months to where you don't have to start paying. So say for instance you get into a house and then you have to buy all the furniture. Say for instance, for money or for math. Let's do $20,000 of your money going towards furniture. And then you have to put 10, 15K in the backyard. That's $30,000, $35,000 right out of the gate. It's a lot of money. And then plus you did $12,000 down for the down payment. Damn, now we're talking about in the 40s. Let's say for instance $50,000 on this house. That hurts. But if you really market it first really well, right out of the gate, then you get your first month will probably be around 6K, 4 to 6K. Some people will get really lucky and do 10K. And then your second month happens to be another 10K month or 8K month. Now you're already $20,000 in with no real money out. And so you're let's just say for instance, 15K cut off immediately of that overall cost of, say for instance, 40K, 50K. And then from then on out, every single month we have a higher amount of money that we get back. So now we're chipping away at that really fast, like $5,000 to $6,000, $7,000 every single month gets that knocked down. In the first 6 months, you can have most of your upfront costs, your cash on cash, could be almost completely wiped out. So now you invested all this money, got all your money back within 3 to 6 months, maybe more, but let's say for 6 months. Now everything after that, from then on out for the remainder of the time that you own the home, that's pure profit. That's amazing. Like, what other place in the world can you get your money back from a big investment in less than 3 to 6 months and then just pure profit after that? That's fantastic for anybody that understands investment. COC, cash on cash, that cash on cash return is absurd. Number 3 reason why I like it is because it does a lifetime, and not only your lifetime, but a family tree's worth of lifetime of income. And so as you hold your property, you can give it to somebody else when you die, put it in a will, you can transfer it, you can sell it, you can do all sorts of fun things with it. It's way more creative, and you can manipulate things around to benefit you and your family or your business partners in whatever way that you see fit. And so say for instance, if you wanted to pass this off to your family tree, then your kids can then get your property, but your property that you bought in 2021 for $400,000 in 2050 is not going to be worth $400,000. It's going to be worth way more. And so you're making money hand over feet, and hand over fist, hand over foot, hand over head. I don't care. It depends on if you're doing a backflip or not, or cartwheel. And then you're going to be making your money cash up front. So maybe this only lasts, Airbnb way of investing only lasts another 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, who knows? So you're making so much money in the meantime. You pay the thing off, and now you're making pure money for the rest of your life from this property. If you ever need to get rid of it, sell it. You can take that cash and reinvest it in something else, whatever it happens to be. You can use your home as a cash out finance and use your home as like a credit card to buy whatever else you want, or whatever. We'll get in that in a different video. But you have so many different ways that you can use this house, and every single month the house, typically, historically speaking, if you look lifetime of the house, is going to get more valuable month after month after month after month after month. That's awesome. You're holding onto an asset that's paying you off, that's helping you in your taxes, tax write-offs, and it's getting more valuable every month. And I know you might say, Sean, we're at the top of the market. This house is not going to stay here. It's going to dip, and now it's going to be $200,000 next year. You'll see, whatever. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. Last time in the worst possible real estate market crash there was, mathematically speaking, all of Dallas County dipped around 7% max in the worst cases, but typically around 5%. So that's not going to kill you. You'll be fine. You hold on to it long enough, and as you saw, it was whoop and then whoop and then whoop, and it's been crazy ever since. So just hold on to things. Don't sell it. Don't sell when times are bad. Just hold on. Times will be good again. Or if not, then the whole world falls apart and we're all zombies anyway. So who cares about real estate investing at that point? So yeah, I just love the ability to transfer it to somebody else, and it just gains wealth for eternity as long as you hold it and doesn't fall down. Cool. And you can always play with it and adjust it and make it more beneficial for you. Number, I don't know. 4, 3, I don't know which one we're on right now. But I also like the fact that you're in complete control of it. As long as you don't have an HOA, you never have to worry about someone kicking you out of your own home. Unless they change the laws in an area that has Airbnb, just be careful where you put your Airbnb, for long-term use. Is you think it's gonna be possibly getting kicked out? Is it next to a stadium or something like that? And they might change the laws and the rules around stadium. I don't know. Just make sure you invest in the right areas. And if you're investing with me, then you probably will. And you just have a better chance of having control of your future. You can sustainably say that I'm probably gonna make this over the course of the year, over the course of 5 years, as long as everything goes well, and I don't have to worry about someone knocking on my door and be like, hey, you need to get out, we're gonna change the locks, and blah, 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 blah. You don't have to worry about that so much, whereas at an apartment complex or another house, a property manager can kick you out, or an apartment complex manager could just be like, hey, we had a lot of noise complaints, or we have people at the pool that were your guests, and they were pissing people off, and now you need to leave. And so I like the fact that I never have to worry about staying up, like say for instance you have 100 units, and then like at any moment someone might call your card and say, you need to get your 10, 15 units out of our property, and now you have to scramble the next day having to deal with it. I would feel personally a constant stress of just like, do I even have control of my own life, my own future, my income, or because someone else can just call the card and now I just have to scramble tomorrow and figure this all stuff out. So this is a less stressful way to invest. And even if things do happen, like in a year or 2, 3 years, you do have to sell your house, and you have to, because Airbnb stopped working or your property, your area, whatever happened to be the case, the likelihood is you're gonna end up being probably with the equity that goes up in the house, and when you sell it, you might either sell it at a even, like kind of what you bought it for, or maybe at a little bit of a loss. But even if you did that, then the amount of income that you made over the course of the last 2, 3 years is so dramatic that it's not going to really affect you in any negative way. And hopefully you sell at an up market, now you actually sell your property for even more than what you bought it for, and you've made all that money in the meantime, which that's the worst thing that can happen to you. That's a great way for things to go wrong. And the last reason why I like it is that we kind of are in a very small niche. Now I know that some people think it's oversaturated at this point, and it's true, there is a lot of people doing this, but a small niche of people actually know what I'm talking about. A lot of people are putting in their personal homes, or they don't quite know how to do it, or they're buying old homes and trying to renovate them and put it on their 3-bedroom homes. Like there's a lot of people trying to figure out this Airbnb thing, but few people really understand this idea of having this big, grand, badass house, making it specifically for Airbnb, building it out, making it a cool luxury space and a common area space to make it to where it's super profitable for the amount of money that you spend on it. Now anybody can make 10K on Airbnb a month. Not a real hard, difficult thing to do, but typically they have to pay like $1 million for a house, or 1.5. They're like, I got this really sexy lake house. It's like $1 million, 1.5, and I'm bringing in 10, 15K, 20K. Some beach houses that I know about, they're bringing in 30K plus a month, but they're millions of dollars of property. So yeah, we can do it if we spend a lot of money. But very few people are actually doing what we're doing, which is spending very little to get into these properties, relatively speaking, and spending very little for the properties, relatively speaking, but we're getting such a max amount of yield. So what I like about this is that we're in the beginning of this precipice of this new industry. Still, I know it feels like it's not, but it still is new, and we're taking advantage of the ignorance of people in the market that don't know about what they don't know. They still try and do the old style of Airbnb, or they're starting to do the old style of rental investing and buying homes and trying to make them work over a 12-month lease. But they're trying to get into this Airbnb thing and they don't quite understand it. I'm surprised how many real estate agents come to me in my DMs on Instagram and try to ask me for advice and coaching. Hey, how can I do this? I'm like, dude, I'm a real estate agent and I make my money by doing this. I'm not gonna coach you on how to be my competition. But yeah, we're still in the very beginning of the market. And so you can take advantage of this huge shift in Airbnb rental investing before it becomes too mainstream and the prices of properties are way too high, which I guess that would be a bonus. The final thing I like about it, that's like plus this bonus reason, which I also hate as well, is that real estate properties are going to become basically the land of the rich. So if you're gonna own real estate in the future, it's most likely gonna be that you inherited it or you have a lot of money and you're able to buy it. Because with a lot of these things like BlackRock and all these kind of people that are all these corporations and companies coming in and buying up all these real estate and for rental purposes only, and we're starting to see this rapid acceleration of all these properties that should be for people buying homes. They're actually being used as rentals, which is accelerating the cost of the homes. It's also skyrocketing rentals and it's making it harder for people to buy homes. We're gonna start seeing it more and more difficult for people to buy homes at a good price. And you're gonna see this exchange of rich people basically trading these properties for a high price to sell it or a high price to rent it. And so I imagine 5 to 10, 20 years, we're gonna be having absurd costs on homes. And if you use that knowledge from the future now, you can buy something now that's gonna be so much more valuable then in the future and make money all the way up. Which is, why not do that? The only thing I can imagine messing that up is when we all die from a comet climate change, or if they reinvent the entire way that we do real estate and they start doing 3D printing, stuff like that, which that could happen too. But other than those, we should be set. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys learned something. I know it was a long one for you guys on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment below for any kind of questions you guys have that I didn't cover in this, or any reasons why you guys like it that I didn't cover. Please do me a favor, if you guys do have any rental properties that you're using for rental arbitrage, put it down below how many you have and share your experience. If you have a home and you do what I do in different states or cities, again, tell me how many you have, how much you're making, put that down below. Let's have a little conversation in the comments, and then we'll figure out together how we can make this even more profitable for you guys as well. Thank you again. Like, subscribe, share. I already said that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Also, if you guys have, this is an idea that was brought to me by a couple people on Instagram and in the comments. This video is for you guys to ask for this. So if you guys want more videos that you like and topics, comment in the comments and let me know what you guys want to hear, and then I'll try to push those out. Now that I got my back in working order, I'm not in recovery, I can start pushing out videos more often. Thank you guys again so much, and I will see you in the next video. See ya.